It is Sunday, February 26th, 2023. And I am still drinking my coffee, a little bit left. And I completed filling out my dream journal. Very interesting dream with different rooms in a house, different conversations in each room. Really fascinating. And, all with the theme of transition. So I will be reflecting on this dream this morning as well. Perhaps it'll come through in my dialoguing. I already feel the love energy. Years ago, I used to call it the love goo. I already feel it coming into my whole chest region. It's more than, just the heart area. It just starts to radiate up through my throat and my face and my arms. And that's how I know that I'm in good company. So I'm going to turn this off for now and come back shortly when I'm ready to dialogue. All right, I'm back, and I'm going to start my dialogue. And this is a dialogue after nearly 20 years of practice, so it's not going to perhaps look or sound like anything that I describe of the beginning stages of the dialogue. Father, Mother, God, I'm here. I choose love. I'm really feeling that astrologer from the 1800s, Grant Louis, maybe early 1900s. All he said about the aspect I have in my chart, Mercury opposed Uranus, was knows so much but cannot make headway. And that is so accurate. Uranus rules Aquarius, and it is about a different way of communicating. And it's frequency-based. And Mercury is related more with the everyday communication, primarily the intellect. So my whole life has been about preparing to be a translator. I didn't know that until, the latter part of my life. And now I receive so much understanding and data in the ways that are natural to us. And I'm just in this pickle of still wanting to alert people and let people know on a whole variety of levels and angles of what they need to know right now. And first of all, it's not possible to translate the data that just fills you and informs you. It doesn't translate. They kept telling me that years before now, and now I understand. I understand what they meant, because it isn't. You're meant to be lifting into higher frequency so that you can understand instantly, not be a consumer of old paradigm forms, language, communication. So I have this almost constant now background energy of here it comes, here it comes, here it comes. But it, what it is an internal event. And so I can't tell people what they're going to experience, because it's like if everybody had a Kundalini experience. It's between you and your maker. It's between you and this goddess power that has been dormant. And it's your relationship or lack thereof with this goddess energy, which is interesting because when I'm saying the word goddess, it's dinging me into my dream from last night. Real cute at the end of the dream. A very involved dream with another large house, transition place, lots of rooms with different conversations, different orientations. The last room I was in was with a mother and a toddler baby girl. And she was kind of just in the background, mostly when I was talking to the mother of the child. And then I was just kind of getting settled into my room, and the little girl came toddling in and said, "Hi, giant goddess girl." That's what she said. "Hi, giant goddess girl." Oh, talk about a zing of delight. Anyway, she wasn't old enough to actually say a sentence like that, so that's pretty cool. I'm still smiling, and I feel the energy of that. These are the kinds of moments that I live for, that keep me going. Messages from home, I guess. Home frequency. Anyway, I'm feeling, what I'm trying to say is I have a consistent feeling of overwhelm about what am I supposed to be doing right now? How can I best help? Which is the constant inner conversation. It never stops. How can I help? What could I be doing to help? And, I think I mentioned, I don't know. I haven't posted any of these dialogues yet. I prepare them, but then I never post them, and I guess it's not time. I'm aware that I'm going to be free because you showed me you're going to experience this feeling the way that you do. And it's always been accurate, whatever you show me in that way. The only thing is it could be decades if I live that long before I feel it, because this isn't, time-space based information. But it is body based, that I would feel this feeling of being complete, and that I no longer like the pressing of I have to let people know, I have to build this, I have to do this, and so that's what the constant efforts to reach people have been about, and the constant frustration of not being able to reach them because of the consensus programming, and then feeling like a failure, and so these cycles over the years. But I want to focus on that feeling you showed me of being free from the constant efforts to reach people. And I loved it. I loved that feeling of, it's okay, thank you very much for your service. And there was no sense of accomplishment or failure. It was pure, this part of your mission is complete. It's over. And there was no part of me saying, well, how'd I do? It was just, boom, done. We're not doing that anymore. And there wasn't even a wondering from my perspective in this. And there was a series of feelings and messages like this, but I'm kind of focusing on them collectively right now. Or perhaps the first time it came. I didn't have any sense of persona. There wasn't an Eileen, an Eileen perspective that would say, well, then what's next? So I just want to say that I like that feeling. And all the information, the data about creating right now. So, okay, you wanted to teach me how to create or co-create something in the new sun. New isn't even the right word. It's the how to create on the natural grid, how to co-create. So, okay, you're showing me in my third eye. Thank you. I see. So what I'm being shown here is that we're past the halfway point on the threshold, and that the structures, the framework, the ways, the higher dimensional, natural ways of creating are becoming the dominant, is the dominant orientation. And so when we try to create or co-create with someone who is still predominantly in the old framework, the old orientation, the programmed orientation, doesn't mean that's a static thing. It means they're still emerging, or they're not going to emerge. But I'm speaking about the ones who are in the frequency bandwidth of potential to emerge and restore their reconnection with the natural grid. And so, all right, so the reason why things aren't, okay, let me see if I can quickly translate this. So the people that I reached out to in the community, some connected to my school, where I am studying the addiction studies so that I can work with those in addiction recovery. I reached out to them to do a fire ceremony here and invite those in recovery. And initially it was, oh, that's amazing. Okay, great. So, well, the first person I sent an email to never responded to my follow-ups either. So I thought that might have been the best way to reach out, but it turns out it wasn't. So they're teaching me. So the next ones were my teachers and my advisor. And initially just, wow, that's cool. Let's see if we can help you do this. And then the next time I touched base with them, it was, oh, what is it again? What are you doing? So that kind of matrix-like, I can just feel it after receiving that kind of message back from them is like glitches, like like, oh wait, don't you remember how you responded first and now you don't really know what I'm talking about? Fascinating. When I speak like this, there isn't any judgment. It's I've been taught very well and oriented very well to navigation into the new world, the new grid. I'm going to have to find different names for this because it's not new, it's the natural grid. Okay. Then another thread that I sent out was to an organization locally here that has events where they take people out into nature and help them reconnect with nature. I'll just keep it simple that way in the description. And again, this sounds amazing. Yes, let's talk. Let's do a Zoom. Can we do a Zoom or telephone call? So there was enthusiasm. I wrote back and I gave her times that I could do a video call. And one of those times is coming up in hours, and tomorrow from this point that I'm speaking now. So again, the same phenomenon, the, oh my God, yes, and then nothing. So I find that really interesting. Like there's that part of them that knows what I'm talking about. They know that I'm, it's like I'm speaking to them from the future. It is another way to say it. And they're on the fence still about, they like the old paradigm way that they created their organization. And I bring in energy of what we're transitioning into. And they're not conscious of this stuff. Some people I talk to are conscious of it, but not in this case. So they wouldn't be able to tell you why. They then go, oh wait, That's not in my reality anymore. I'm not even on their radar. They don't respond back. So thank you for that lesson. Thank you for these teachings, I have to say, to my inner guide. So this is my role, being human at this time, is to actually apply the wisdom that has come through the messages and to demonstrate it, and to very pragmatically let others know, when you come to this point, here's some things to know. When you want to co-create something, when you want to, be that future being and start, emerging and being that being, you're going to have some challenges with communication and co-creation. So if you have a vision, which I did, I had the vision of bringing Eduardo up to the Pacific Northwest and to do this fire ceremony for anyone who wants to come and be a part of the weekend that we were planning, but also to extend to those in recovery, because after all, we're all in recovery as we emerge from this limited bandwidth orientation in the old paradigm. So that's what I learned. This is what I am learning, I should say, because it's ongoing, and this, it could change at any moment. I could hear back from the first person that I sent this, community person that I sent this to. They could pop on or pop in. And my sense is, and what I'm being shown right now, is they may pop in again. And also know that they may pop back out, back into the old paradigm, because it's too weird or scary, or they're not quite sure what to do with my energy. It's like I'm not from their world, and that is absolutely true. I am not from that reality. I almost got sucked in certain points in my life, but this love, this light, this presence always came and gave me a big experience to snap me out of the spell. But most people, the larger part of the population, is in and under this spell. And so there's that, and I guess in the dialogue I'm simply acknowledging that I see this and I understand that I am being coached right now into, let people know this is what they may encounter once they have embodied this sovereign self enough to begin navigating forward. And so with all of that, I need to tap back into the feelings you've been showing me of being complete. And I loved that feeling that I don't think anyone realizes how much I work and build and create to reach people. And I'm driven, and it is this river of love that drives me. Sure, I get tired or exhausted, or I need to stop working and switch gears. But for the most part, it drives me. As I say about this presence, it breathes me. It lives through me. And that's what we've been disconnected from, and that's why nothing in this world makes sense. And why we follow external authority, because we've lost this internal sovereign authority, this divine connection, which is our natural state. And when we are embodying this true nature, this authentic being that we are frequency-based, moving into the natural grid again, away from the false grid. And it's all a frequency transition. Just got a nice love goo response to that in my body. So this is my preferred way now to commune. I don't know. I've been wondering this for a while now. Am I going to still channel in the ways that I was before? My feeling is that the messages are, and they told me this. They prepared me for this. That it wouldn't necessarily be messages in this way. It would be me embodied enough to be in direct contact with the higher frequency representatives from the natural grid, the home grid that we are phasing back into, if we're paying attention, if we are engaged. That's probably going to be one of the biggest surprises, I feel, for a lot of human being fragments. They are assuming they're just going to ride this wave into the next world, the beautiful world where everything's magically wonderful. And it's true that there is this magically wonderful, benevolent reality that is our home grid. Back home, we're returning home from this diversion, this capture, this containment. And it's not my place to describe why that is. That's other people's work. And it's also could be a distraction. Definitely is a distraction at this point. It is frequency-based, pure frequency. Where do you put your attention? So much energy coming in. So, I'm just, okay, I will receive your love. My orientation is to do, act, create, build. And so stopping to receive love is, I see. So they're saying this is what we mean by you're going to be free. You're going to feel this more often now. Okay, so this will be the consistent feeling rather than we got to do this, we got to do that, we have to reach people, I have to make this and do that, and all the while trying to survive in this world. I've always been the artist whose time hasn't come yet. People don't recognize my art. So I had to get jobs. And I still may. And that's okay. Training to have the credentials to help people in addiction recovery. But that may never manifest. I don't know. Nobody knows how this is going to go. It's not, or when. It's up to each individual to experience this directly and to connect with their creator, so that, and that's your decision. That's when you decide, yeah, that's too scary to meet my maker while in form. So I think I'm just going to stay here in the construct. This is where most people in that consensus orientation don't realize that they're just that these managers are fighting over the control of the ones who are disconnected from their authority. And that's what they do here. And obviously, the old systems and ways of doing this are going nowhere. That is ending. That is in active entropy. And so what's next is each of these power points, these beings that represent different factions, different intentions, they are vying for the control leadership position for the direction of artificial intelligence and transhumanism, using the human body as a resource. And that's the other whole trajectory of, that if you do some research, they talk about the Greys, and the Greys coming back to, harvest the DNA and create hybrid babies, which I experienced. And it all sounds so fantastical, and, no way, the programming would kick in and say, that's ridiculous. But when you have a direct experience, you shift out of that and you go, oh, I see, I understand. Anyway, they went off in this trajectory, right? They're coming back from the future to, as I feel I am, from the future. I'm blending with a future self now, selves that I've been integrating. And then so what they're saying right now is, don't go down that path. Don't make this a story. Stay with the essence of that, because it's not fully accurate what I'm saying. They're saying yes, and when you fully land in the home frequency again, you'll say, oh, I can see how I would have framed it that way, but that's not the case at all. It's oh, I see, instant understanding. And then we're not in investigation mode anymore. Once we land back in natural grid, like trying to, why is this happening? There's no questions, there's no answers. It's all creation. It's all, what do we want to do? How do we want to help? Anyway, and I come back into my focus and remember that I'm in a dialogue and that I'm recording this and I may share it. So there's, an explaining part of me present here too. The translator is still here to translate to those who are just getting glimpses of this way forward, this emergence into a greater way of being that we were designed to be. So the derailment happened so long ago that we can't even quantify it. But now we've come full circle, and we have an opportunity to transcend it and move to the next phase of possibilities within a greater frequency bandwidth. I'm keeping it very simple here. So this dialoguing, this phase of dialoguing that I'm in, is a conscious conversation with myself, my higher self, greater self. And it's not about anymore, it's not about the stories of what we were in. It's about, are you healing enough to embody the way forward? And the way forward has nothing to do with, it has nothing to do with karma or paying for this or that. It's, are you embodying and living the higher frequency so that you can hear and know the way forward? And if you're not, and you're still, okay, so what they're showing me now is, this is really what the astral level is about, is working these things out. When you're not quite ready to fully embrace who you are, you're going to continue with the stories and the seeking, always seeking, and or justifying your self, your identity that your identity of the day. Who are you now? How do you define yourself now? Until you no longer need to define yourself in any terms from stories, from what you were once in. When you're ready to rise, you let go of all of that and you are fully present with Source. And we allow Source to inform us of the way forward, the field, Source field. So we're healing the mother wounds, which are so deeply embedded within us. that we, okay, so I'm, just to clarify, I'm being shown in my third eye, and I'm describing it. Those who bypass the deeper mother traumas, the ancient traumas, they avoid the pain by recreating themselves inside the consensus bandwidth. And this is a little bit of the astral at play. Symbols and magic and belief systems and, you're working out rigid belief systems or trauma that you are not ready to fully engage with, which is where the mother sits. And so the mother must be freed before we can rise. And that occurs one-on-one. There's no story from that. There is nothing that you can narrate about that process. It is a fully present experience of feeling the pain, acknowledging the pain, not running from it. And it doesn't have to last long. It only lasts, feels like it lasts long, this deeper stuff, because we'll touch into it and go, oh, no, I like my other identity that is, doesn't have all that ugly stuff. But if you were fully present with the ugly and the painful, it would just be a few seconds. But it's our avoidance of it that causes all the pain and misunderstanding and confusion. And once that is released, once the mother has your attention long enough to commune with you and help her, you're helping her to be set free within you, which then has the potential to transform you from fragment to wholeness. Now you are connected to Source, and all of your inspirations come from this larger spectrum because you have fused First Father and First Mother within you. Instantaneously, you are no longer a fragment. And then you move forward with whatever you're inspired to move forward with, because you have your inner calm, your inner net activated. But until that happens, most people will continue to avoid this deeper, darker shadow stuff and mask it with a lot of spiritual stuff. And right now, it doesn't help. It doesn't help. You will understand when you go there, when you really go there and meet the mother within. In your womb, no matter if you're male or female gender, you're going to meet her in the womb. And you might feel like you're dying. You are really. You're in that moment of connection, reconnection, and healing. She is a force. And she wants you to connect with her directly, not just in story. Yeah, I like this. I like this way of doing things now, where I just connect with you and you show me and I describe it. I like this. This is part of my evolution of, in my emergence, is I become who I am, myself, with all the healing and integration. I'm able to speak from this place now with authority. Most of my life, I just wanted to exist in the background, didn't want anyone to pay attention to me. And then it changed. It took a long time. It's been a process, and I just want to acknowledge the others who are coming into this space now. It's like, it's a different kind of leadership, an integrated leadership that takes us beyond this very small bandwidth of orientation. We can be free now. I can help just by telling you what I learned on my journey and what I am learning about what lies ahead. How this actually works, not lots of intellectual conversations about it. The mother's not interested in intellectual conversations. She wants you to feel her. Boom. And then everything changes. Unlock her from that basement room that you've convinced yourself doesn't exist. Humble yourself. Take the keys. Go down those stairs and meet the mother. Then emerge. Phase back into the natural grid. You don't have to be a part of the warring to own humanity in the next cycle. That's when the divine spark will be extinguished within human beings. They will be changed into machines. Once you ignite with the mother, this is where the eyes that see and the ears that hear occur. And you can see things like about abortion. Of course, no, it's not anything that anyone would want to do, to terminate a pregnancy. But in this kind of fragmented reality, it needed to be an option for some. But the big push to control the woman's body has nothing to do with love and compassion for the unborn. It has everything to do with control of the baby-making process. So inch by inch, they are taking back control of humanity's freedoms that got, according to some, that got way out of line. That we should have never had this level of freedom, or what we consider to be freedom within the smaller context of reality. It's not freedom, never has been freedom, but comparatively speaking, this is what the visions have showed me and the messages. That's what's going to happen in this spectrum if we choose not to rise above and to reclaim our sovereign authority, divine authority. And that's not this is all said very neutrally. It's everybody gets to choose. And in the next cycle opening window that we're in right now, there may be opportunities to choose again. But for now, I feel myself just now crossing. What they showed me is we're just just beyond the halfway point, phasing. It's a little more complicated than that when we're talking frequency, but generally speaking, what that means is we'll be more rooted in the natural grid more often, and we'll have glimpses of the old reality. Whereas what we were in before was we're rooted in the smaller bandwidth, false grid reality, controlled reality, and we would occasionally have glimpses of the natural grid reality and natural self. And we were programmed to see that as crazy. So, you get my drift? I hope this is helpful. This is my orientation now. I can feel it. This is how the next Enter the Dialogue is going to go. This is how I will enter and speak. So much gratitude. I'm filled with it. I'll probably share this one.
Glimpses
Love to you.
of another time, of another place, where this roped off soul can let out a sigh. Glimpses of you calling on me to be true. Glimpses of me becoming you. Walking on the avenue, I follow the thoughts, the robotic thoughts, until they drift away. The silence screams while the people pass. The robotic people pass until they drift away into 1,000 places where I get glimpses share this welcome soul can breathe. Glimpses of you becoming me. I'll give you glimpses. Becomes the many. Once again, I'll give you glimpses of all the colors and all the faces of love. I'll give you glimpses. You give me glimpses of one.